I literally don't know what the fuck's wrong with my country. So, knives are too sharp, and filing them down is a solution to soaring violent crime, says a judge. I don't know. Don't know what to tell you. I guess we should probably not let the judges know that you can kill someone with blunt trauma. like, how long until they outlaw hammers? Nobody could ever need a hammer. If you don't need a potato peeler, then you certainly don't need a fucking hammer. I mean, the idea of having a knife, that's basically like saying that you want to murder people. Just the possession of a knife is intent to murder, and that goes as far as potato peelers. And I love Sadiq's, there's no reason to have a knife. Oh, fucking hell, Sadiq. What if I need to cut something that isn't a person, Sadiq? But, yes, knives are too sharp, and filing them down is a solution to soaring violent crime, says a judge who is completely out of touch with what's going on in the real world. Right, you got to understand, right? A lot of our judges are fucking lunatics, and this is part one of a two-part thing that I'll be covering this little segment. A judge has proposed a nationwide program to file down the points of kitchen knives as a solution to the country's soaring knife crime epidemic. We will address literally, and I mean this literally, any issue that isn't the root cause of the problem here. We will file down every point. We will ban every potato peeler. Everything in your kitchen will eventually become illegal. My country is so backwards. It's so backwards. Okay, just by the way, dear police, dear judge, this is not a solution. It's not going to work. But anyway, last week in his valedictory address, retiring Luton Crown Court Judge Nick Madge spoke of his concern that carrying a knife had become routine in some circles and called on the government to ban the sale of large pointed kitchen knives. There's no reason to have a kitchen knife, I presume Sadiq Khan came out and said. I know that you may have vegetables that need chopping, but that's really just a cover for you joining a criminal gang and stabbing someone up, isn't it? Do they remember that knives have blades on them? I mean, are we going to be dulling the blades of our knives? Because, okay, we can't stab someone, we can cut someone. They can't possibly sleep well at night. You know, he gets down, he lays next to his wife, and his wife's like, "Did you have a good day, dear?" "Yeah, I did. I think I've solved the ethnic gang problem." "Oh, really, dear? What did you do?" "I suggest that we should file down the points of knives." "Oh, good thinking, darling, good thinking." So the stabbing deaths among teenagers and young adults have reached the highest level for 8 years, and knife crime overall rose 22% in 2017. Incidentally, I feel safer now that I'm in New York City than I would do in London, because technically I am safer. In the last 2 months, he said there have been 77 knife-related incidents in Bedfordshire, including 3 killings. Okay, it must be the knives. The knives are the problem. You must be quoting Homer. "The blade itself incites to violence, so you need to take away the blades." It's not the problem with the people, it's the blades. Judge Madge told the assembled judges, barristers and court staff, these offences often seem motiveless. One boy was stabbed because he had an argument a couple of years before his junior school. It's not... That's not motiveless, is it? That's an unbelievable grudge that's been held there. He said laws designed to reduce the availability of weapons to young would-be offenders had almost no effect. Oh, no shit! No shit, it's had almost no effect because they're taking knives from the cutlery drawer. Well, I mean, do you ever really need a cutlery drawer? Have we considered that we could be eating with our hands like Indians? He said a few of the blades carried by youths are so-called Rambo knives or samurai swords. Well, ban them. The reason why these measures have had little effect is that the vast majority of knives are only kitchen knives. Yeah, it turns out that any knife can be used to kill someone. And when the knives have all been banned, I guess we're going to go after the potato peelers and, I don't know, soup strainers probably. Potato mashers could probably do some damage if you swung them hard enough. I mean, really, do we need to eat cooked food at all? Could we not just eat all of our food raw? Accordingly, it's very easy for any youth who wants to obtain a knife to take it from the kitchen drawer in his home or in the home of one of his friends. Okay. Yeah, it is. It's really fucking easy to get hold of a weapon or something that could be used as a weapon. Are we at any point going to address the youth who is doing this, who is going to the drawer because he feels he needs a weapon and wants to go and stab someone? Is there something about that person that we need to be talking about? Or is the problem the knives? He fucking literally is. He said it. But why do we need 8-inch or 10-inch kitchen knives with points? Often, mate, to open the packaging of the thing I'm about to cut. That's why. Literally, that's fucking why. Like, a knife is an incredibly useful kitchen implement. You freak. What the fuck? Butchers and fishmongers do, but how often, if at all, does the domestic chef use the point of an 8-inch or 10-inch knife? Rarely, if at all. Well, okay, where's your evidence? How many studies have you done? Sometimes you need to poke into a joint of meat to see if it's cooked. Maybe you should ask your chef. I presume that you don't cook yourself, since you seem to know absolutely fuck all about it. You know, literally, have you got a license for that kitchen knife, mate? Acknowledging that any blade could cause injury, the judge pointed out slash wounds are rarely fatal. Oh, that's okay then. So he said, I would urge all those with any role in relation to knives, manufacturers, shops, the police, local authorities, the government. What does the government have to do with knives? To consider preventing the sale of long-pointed knives except in rare, defined circumstances, and replacing such knives with rounded ends. So, am I going to have to go to the government with my chef's qualification and say, excuse me, I legitimately need a permit for a kitchen knife because I am a chef? I mean, and they're going to be like, okay, we're going to have to check out your background. It might even be that the police could organise a programme whereby the owners of kitchen knives, which have been properly and lawfully bought for culinary purposes, you mean every kitchen knife in the country, that is a description of every knife in the entire country in someone's kitchen. They're bought from Sainsbury's, those known arms dealers, and Tesco's. Could be taken somewhere to be modified with the points being ground down to rounded ends. Can you imagine your local police station or fire station going to stand outside with a fucking whetstone to file down the points of your knives just in case you decide to get a bit stabby, or someone you know does? The Office for National Statistics published figures that revealed 215 for February fatal stabbings that have been recorded by the police in 12 months until March 2017. This is on par with 212 stabbing deaths, but marked an increase on the 186 in the year of 2015. It's young people who are doing this. Well, we need to deal with our young people then, don't we? It's not the knives. We've had knives since the Bronze Age. The knives aren't the problem. In fact, probably since the advent of copper, we've had knives. We've had knives for a very long time. And before then, we made knives out of flint. Literally, tens of thousands of years ago, there was Stone Age man napping flint into sharp points to use as a knife, and he wasn't just randomly stabbing people. This is a relatively new phenomenon, and I wonder what's changed. I wonder if there's anything about our societies that's changed, that's starting to make. I mean, you could term it you could phrase it in terms of we're failing children, but I mean, I don't know. I guess everything's exactly the same as it always was. Of course, we do have judges saying that we should applaud the end of the nuclear family. I'm sure that's got nothing to do with it. I'm sure it's nothing to do with young people joining gangs because they don't have fathers in their homes. And gang violence compounds more gang violence until there's a never-ending downward spiral of stabbings into gang stabbings. I'm sure it's nothing to do with it. Let's hear about how it's a good thing to get rid of the nuclear family. Why on earth would we need a healthy family environment to raise children in? I mean, it's not like they're going to turn into murderers or something. Britain should welcome and applaud the collapse of the nuclear family, the most senior family judge in England and Wales has said. What a fucking ideologue. Listen to this. In a speech by Sir James Munby, the president of the High Court's Family Division, said the British modern family was complex and takes an almost infinite variety of forms. He said that whether that's through choice or circumstance, many people live in families more or less removed from what, until comparatively recently, would have been recognised as the typical nuclear family. And it's weird how, until comparatively recently, we didn't have spates of stabbings from children across our country. This, I stress, is not merely the reality. It is, I believe, a reality which we should welcome and applaud. The new dystopian future is of one of children running around with blunted knives, trying to stab each other to death, but not quite being able to. Maybe we're going to start handing out chainmail and Kevlar and things like this as well. Kids going to school with armoured vests, just in case. But I'm glad the nuclear family's gone. I mean, holy shit, that was just a toxic, oppressive, patriarchal institution that did no good for anyone. Children live in households where their parents may be married or unmarried. They may be brought up by single parents, two parents, or even by three parents. Yeah, this is all healthy, isn't it? Their parents may or may not be their natural parents. That's all true. They may be children of parents with very different religious, ethnic, or national backgrounds. They may be the children of polygamous marriages, even. Their siblings may be half or step-siblings. Some children are brought by parents of the same sex. Some children are conceived by artificial donor insemination. Some are the result of surrogacy arrangements. Okay, but it was generally quite stable when most of it was just a mum, a dad, and a couple of kids. I'm just saying, the data suggests when most families were what we would have considered to be typical nuclear families, like, kids didn't go out on knife crime sprees. They didn't. It was a far more rare thing. And that's only because, I'm only quoting your data from the other Telegraph article. This isn't my data. I didn't go out and find this out. You guys found that out. But, okay, don't get me wrong. It's just fine for the collapse of the nuclear family. It's just fine for children to have no respect for their elders. It's just fine that all of this is going on. There's nothing wrong. Just sit down and remember that there's no problem whatsoever.